Genuine question, is there anything worse in football than an international break? Though England have just played and the football is back this weekend, I am very bored, and I thought I'd make this video midweek, to kind of fill in the boredness of this international break. Also, the time is currently 22 past 4 and it is pitch black outside, which is why the lighting is so bad. Oh well, it's not a matchday vlog. Today we are ranking every single Premier League team's start to the season. I think we are about, how many games in a way? 12 games in, which means we've had a good time to see how each Premier League team has been and how they will progress through the season. And today I'm going to be ranking every Premier League team and how they've started the season. They're going to be ranked into 3 categories: expected, below expected, and above expected, which are kind of the expectations that me and other fans thought of Premier League teams at the start of the season. And I'm going to be comparing to how they've actually ended up 12 games in. It sounds quite complicated, but it's quite easy once you get into it. So smash a like if you guys enjoy, and yeah, let's get into it. By the way, we're going from the bottom of the table to the top of the table, if you haven't already noticed. First of all, Burnley, I'm going to go for below expected. Out of the 3 promoted teams, Burnley had the most promise with, winning the championship last season, and a lot of people thought it was going to be Sheffield United and Luton struggling. However, it's literally Burnley that are the bottom of the table, and I think with one win out the entire season, I think, they have not lived up to the expectations where people thought they would be. I've seen content creators putting Burnley in like 13th, 12th to finish, and I definitely think they'll be lucky to even escape relegation. Everton, I'm not really sure. I'm going to put Everton in above and below expected because, with this 10-point deduction, because before this 10-point deduction, you'd probably say Everton from the start of the season have been above and exceeding expectations. However, with this 10-point deduction, they now sit in the bottom 3 and are 19th in the league. They've had some really good results recently, beating Villa in the Carabao Cup, beating Palace away last week, beating West Ham away a couple of weeks ago, drawing teams like Brighton, and they've actually had a good season from results. But, with this 10-point deduction, they do sit in 19th. And if you were to say Everton were sitting in 19th at the start of the season, you'd probably say they were below expected. So I'm going to go for both. Sheffield United, I'm going to go for expected. I think a lot of teams thought Sheffield United would be in the bottom 3 and around. And to be fair, they are there. They're in 18th. But they're only 1 point below Luton. And there is a chance Sheffield United will, stay up. They're playing a lot better recently. But overall, I think 18th is expected from them so far. Luton, although they're only 17th, Luton, I'm going to say above expected for them because I thought a lot of people thought that out of the 3 teams, Luton would be the team getting battered, and a lot of people were saying it's going to be the worst team in Premier League history, and they're on 6 points. They've drew to Liverpool recently, and they haven't been getting battered like everyone thought, and right now they are above the relegation zone. So I'm going to say little old Luton is exceeding the expectations. Bournemouth, below expected. I think a lot of people thought that this would be Bournemouth's season to kick on with their manager, their new manager, and I think a lot of people thought they were going to do better than them currently sitting 16th. Bournemouth have only won 3 games this season, and 2 of them have come in the last 3 weeks. So up until recently, they've been in pretty crap form, to be fair. So I'm going to go below expected. Fulham, I'm also going to put below expected. I think 13th, 14th, 12th is kind of where a lot of people thought Fulham were going to finish, and their performances actually haven't been great this season. Without Mitrovic, they're lacking goals completely, and I don't think their squad is that great. But, they're 15th. I don't think they're going to get relegated. I don't think they're going to get Europe. And I just thought they'd be a bit better at this point of the season. Forest, I'm going to go for expected. I think they've had a good start under Steve Cooper, 14th. They've had a couple good results as well, beating Villa recently at home at the City Ground. They beat Chelsea away at the start of the season. And I think Forest altogether, I think Forest fans will be happy with their season. 14 points. They're definitely not going to get relegated. They're having a few good team performances, and they're doing all right this season. And I think that's roughly where a lot of people thought they were going to be at the start of the season. Palace, expected. They're sitting 13th. They finished 12th every single season. They'll probably finish 12th again this season. Palace, expected. Wolves, I'm going to go above expected. Wolves currently sitting 12th in the minute, but they've had some good results, Wolves have recently. Throughout the season, really. They beat City at home. They beat Spurs at home last week. They've drew to teams like Villa and Newcastle. And I think a lot of people thought this might be the time for Wolves to get relegated and to go down. But Gary O'Neill's had a few good results, and they're currently sitting just below mid-table. I think Wolves have actually had a pretty decent season so far, and I think they're above expected. Brentford, I'm going to go for expected again. I think with Tony's ban, I think a lot of people thought Brentford would fall short this season, and they've been all right. They're mid-table. They'll probably come mid-table at the end of the season. I think that's where a lot of people predicted. Chelsea, I'm not sure. I'm going to go below expected just because when they signed Nkunku and Jackson and they had a really good pre-season, a lot of people thought this is Chelsea's season. No Europe, nothing to distract them. That people thought they were going to go for a title charge, including me. And of course, they do currently sit in 10th. However, they drew City 4-4 last week. They beat Spurs the week before. And they're probably, for me, just a bit below what people thought they were going to be at the start of the season. West Ham, I'm also going to go for expected. I think that they've, although they haven't won in 4 games, they had a really good start to the season. Bowen was scoring goals for fun. They were beating teams fairly convincingly. They've also done really well in Europe. They're top of their group. They've got 9 points. They should be qualifying. And I think, 8th and 9th is where a lot of people thought West Ham would finish at the end of the season. So they're doing pretty well altogether. Brighton, I'm actually going to say above expected. I think a lot of people thought that this would be a pretty bad season for Brighton with European football, with a lot of their players leaving, like McAllister and Caicedo. But to be fair to them, they're still sit 8th in the league. They're still having an all right season. They're also doing well in Europe. They're 2nd in their group. And I think they're probably overachieving for what they should be. They've also had a few injuries, and although their performances haven't been as good as they were last season, I think altogether Brighton have exceeded expectations so far. Newcastle, expected. I think that with Champions League football, everyone kind of thought Newcastle's squad depth wasn't big enough, and although that has proved right, they are still, 7th in the league, which is very good, and although they probably won't qualify for Champions League, they won't go further. I don't think a lot of people thought they would at the start of the season. So I think where they are right now is where a lot of people thought they were going to be. Man United, currently sitting 6th, and they're also the most informed team in the league right now. However, I think they are below expectations. They've had some really scrappy wins this season. They were 2-0 down to Forest, and they scraped a 3-2 win. I think they were losing to Brentford at home, and they scraped a win. They beat Luton at home 1-0. Away from home, they only beat Fulham 1-0 in the last minute of the game, and they only also beat Sheffield United, who were like 19th at the time, 2-1. So I think although United are winning games and they do sit in 6th, they've had some really scrappy performances, and they haven't been good. Rashford's not been good that good this season, and I think overall they are like below expectations. My club, Aston Villa, I'm going to go for above expectations. From the start of the season, I think we are smashing certain teams. We've beat Brighton 6-1. We've beat West Ham 4-1. We've looked comfortable in every single European game. And although a lot of people thought we were going to be there or thereabouts, I don't think that people realised that we'd have the consistency we have with 3 points off first place Villa are. And we're exceeding expectations, mate. Spurs are currently sitting 4th. I'm going to go for expected, I think. Although they have fell off recently, not winning their last 2 games, they were top of the table for a very long time. And it was only 2 weeks ago that they actually were top of the table. Ange Ball is a lot better than a lot of Spurs fans have been seeing from previous managers. And although they're only 4th, and it feels like a long time ago since they were 1st, I think they'll be okay. And I think they're doing better than what people thought they were going to be. Arsenal, again, expected. 3rd in the league. They've only lost 1 game all season. A lot of people thought they'd be 2nd or 3rd, and that's where they are. Liverpool, I'm going to go for above expected. They've smashed teams this season like Villa, West Ham, Forest, and I think this is one of the weaker Liverpool sides that we've seen in recent years, and they're still competing with Man City. They're still 2nd in the league, and there's still a chance Liverpool could go on for a title charge, and I thought a lot of people thought the title charge was going to kind of be between Man City, Arsenal, even Chelsea, and Liverpool, to be fair to them, have snuck in there. Finally, Manchester City, top of the league, expected. However, although it's a little bit closer than a lot of people thought, there's only a couple points in it. We're only 3 points off Man City. They're still 1st. They're still probably going to win the league, and they're still on fire, and they're still a great team. Hopefully that video wasn't too rushed. I feel like I just waffle when I do these sort of videos. But let me know in the comments what you thought. Are you excited for the Premier League to be back? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like if you did, because I need the likes and I need the subscribers. So please do. Up the Villa. I'll see you guys soon. Let me know what you think. And yeah, see you soon. Oh, Tottenham away on Sunday. Come on.